Hey, welcome back to Sage Thyme. I'm Lillian. We have a reading today for people whom have been on the spiritual path. They have been through extensive durations and rigor of spiritual processes within their own personal life and in relation to the world and others around them. These are people who if you're here, are somebody who maybe entered the spiritual search, the interconnected self-search, to find a space and a place and a way to feel like you belong, to feel like you're home in your own body and in your own world. And from that, you became a spiritual leader in progress. However, what I'm picking up from this morning throughout the entire day so far has been this ongoing recognition, and now it's this recognition is really landing for you, that your path, even to use the word spiritual kind of loosely because it's being made into a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but your path into that interconnectedness, that spirituality, is still feeling really separate and apart from what is even amongst maybe those that seem to be ahead of the game, paradigm breakers. You're still finding yourself like, that's kind of old business for you. And I get it. That can be, it is, part of the process is that it's a very alienating experience to always be riding the crest of the wave at the event horizon. And I believe that this reading is more than simply a validation for you. And I'd like to see what's going to come through for it. We're going to start out a little bit different. Instead of the safe space invocation, we're going to work with the angel cards that wanted to come out. And 3 came out, but really there's, 3 and 2, right? So the first one that we'll go into is into freedom. It's a beautiful card. And if you feel inclined, take a little screenshot, crop it, and spend some time with it if you'd like. And then the second 2, bookending the center one, is finding what is lost. And then underneath that, which was what we'll close the reading with, is your heart is a healer. And I read it instantly and it kept saying your heart is the healer. Your heart is the healer. So finding what is lost, your heart is the healer. And we'll start with freedom. And for this one, I am going to read, I wanted to do it my own way, right? I am going to read the prayer, or not prayer, the invocation. And I invite you as I'm reading this, because the author, of course, is human, regardless of whether or not they're channeling, you're channeling, somebody else is channeling. They're human. And so one of the messages is to recognize, and which I feel you're already doing this. You listen to other individuals for various reasons, and you can pick and choose and move through that, knowing what's right for you, but also being able to, shift and move the words around. So I may do that some of the time on this because that's what I need to do, actually. I hope I'm making myself clear. This message is very there's an incredible amount of angelic energy surrounding this message. And it wants to just cut through the crap. They want to, quite frankly. Not that these things are wrong, but the elation and, oh, it's so great, and as well as the heaviness, seriousness of you need to do this or that or whatever, the inadequacy terminology, which still comes into play a lot with spiritual channels, individuals speaking to collectives and groups, or even to themselves. They're still superimposing structures of the old limiting paradigms within the sentence structures of their narratives. And this feels very important, even though, again, I sense, I know you know this. For one, of course, yes, it's a validation that you are supposed to be on your own path. You are supposed to see where others are getting it incomplete. Let's not wrong them, but it really lets old distortions and thought forms seep through the cracks with that wolf in sheep's clothing type of thing, right? And it's also tiring. I know, I get it. I do. I keep saying I get it. The energies that are coming through today are so unique, and I know what it is. It's non-personalitied. It's absent of ego, which can feel a little deflated if you're not connected with the heart. And I believe that's what these 3 cards, and really 2, since the center one is finding what was lost, the 2 things being lost, the freedom, and then the heart as your healer, as the healer. Your heart as the healer. So while we hear all these intense noises around us in your home or outside of mine, and we feel all these interfering and opposing energies coming in, hold strong in your base and in your root, knowing that you are connected to the greatest physical, nurturing, maternal, loving embrace that is the earth. And with that, you can open your entire vessel at the micro, nano, subparticle, quantum level. Everything now gets to open up. All right, let's do this. Into freedom. Recognizing toxic or abusive behaviors within ourselves and our relationships puts us in a position of power. It's that claiming back, the getting very raw and real and honest with what others have been towards us that we didn't want to see or admit or acknowledge, because what it meant, what it requires us to do, to walk away from it, not to fix it, to let it go and release it entirely. And then, of course, what it is within us that was either enabling those behaviors, magnetizing them in, or any other kind of variation, acknowledging that without the shame, without the, oh, I shouldn't have. That's part of the weird lilt on spiritual advice, is that it's time to, get past that and get over it. And not that that's wrong, but when we're told that we lost time or we wasted time or energy and things like that, that's not true. There is no lost time and no wasted time in the universe. The universe doesn't play that way. And the universe is the totality of everything, source all, or God, as many would say. Recognizing that everything is specific and specified, and everything is ongoingly presenting itself and unfolding and revealing and demonstrating, taking from us and giving back to us, so that when the return comes, it can be more and up-leveled and more advanced and developed. Brings us from the narrative that says the world is happening to me, to the universe is happening for me. And a person can say that, but then when they speak in words and terms that deny that, whether our conscious can recognize it, our subconscious most definitely can. And the subconscious will kick up in some way and say, hypocrisy. So being aware of that and being able to change the terminology, change the reference, and if it's going on too much with an individual that you're leaning into, to mirror back where you're at, to offer a little extra support and so forth. It might be time to let those go as well. Not because they're bad or they're wrong or they have malicious intent, but most likely they have influences surrounding them. If there's somebody who's more developed and more advanced in their spiritual journey, they may still have, well, they likely do have energies in individuals and surrounding circumstances that they haven't finished doing the work to alchemize and release and or separate from, if they're still in the midst of it, right? Creating a separation between them and that. Pardon me. We have a little tea of chamomile, chamomile flower, passionflower, and Oatstraw today in my blue dragon cup. So as usual, I say a lot of things before I get to the thing that I want to say at the start of everything. Here we go. So the capacity for healing, transformation, and freedom from tyranny or despair begins with acknowledgement. We claim our power back. Whether society says it was something that we did wrong or a failing, it doesn't matter, because in the whole truth of it, in the actual truth of it, it wasn't a failing, it wasn't a wrong, and yet we still have to acknowledge it and recognize the purpose of what it was there for us, make appropriate amends if and where necessary, and then accept our power back by saying, yeah, that happened. I did that. And you know what? It was the best choice that I had available to me, period. I've looked it over and again. Or, you know what? I get why I did that, and the harm and hurt and caught, those kinds of things. All right, breaking free from abusive relationships, and those can be any kind, not just the personal ones. They can be bosses, social structures, so forth, medical structures, medical ways of prescribing and so-called treating people. That's another really great example. So breaking free from those abusive relationships or situations requires you to trust and love yourself enough to know that you deserve better. And you do not need to accept behavior that does not honor your innate worth as a human being and as a spiritual being, as you. If toxic relationships are all you have known, you may worry there is nothing else for you. As you grow and heal into inner freedom, you will realize there are many souls capable of loving and being loved by you in healthy, healing, and mutually affirming ways. And so here's our invocation with Archangel Archangel Raphael. So going ahead and connecting your hand to your heart if you feel able to or wanting to. We're simply just connecting your consciousness into that heart space. Doing your breath work, moving it through your body consciously allowing it to flow as it needs to flow, letting it move by any blockages, observing those blockages. As that breath and the energy of that breath moves down into and through your solar plexus, through your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral, your base and pelvic bowl, down through the gluteal muscles, the thighs, the knees, the calves, the shins, the ankle bones, heels, and then across the top and the bottom and the center of the feet, out through the toes and down through the base of the feet into the earth. Still connecting also in tandem with that heart space. And you can say out loud, or you can simply listen to my voice as I speak these words. Archangel Raphael, you now awaken divine healing, inspiration, and renewal within me, all for the greatest good of all. The sacred breath, the power of fresh air upon which you travel, ushers in a new cycle, clears away the past, and refreshes my heart and mind with optimism. I thank you as you please hold and protect sacred space where healing will happen according to divine grace. I open my heart to you, my dear angelic friend, and I thank you as you please empower and bless this sacred work. So be it. Now go ahead and allow yourself to imagine, or even if you can't imagine, know that the intention is there. Remaining with your hand over your heart, or your consciousness through your heart space, a divine emerald green light growing within that heart space and expanding through you and around you, forming a beautiful sacred circle of protection all around you. Allow that circle to be as big or as small as feels best for you. And even if you cannot consciously see or sense that light, you can trust that it's there. And now you've opened a sacred space within your circle where you are held, you are protected, and supported for your process. Now repeat Archangel Raphael as many times as you'd like. You can speak it silently or quietly, internally, strongly. You can sing it, you can chant it, you can whisper it. And feel it. Feel the intonations of the invocation, Archangel Raphael, as it moves through your body in waves and geometrical shapes of harmonics that attune with the purity of divine heart and love. Allow yourself to sense and feel the presence of Archangel Michael, connecting with that and as that beautiful divine green, emerald green orb of light surrounding you and throughout you. Feeling that the presence is good, it's loving and nourishing. Now express this intention, reason or purpose for the ritual. you can talk to Archangel Raphael and share what has brought you to this practice. Hearing yourself speak and seeing your situation with greater clarity can be healing in itself. If you are offering this, actually, we're going to skip that, sorry. So hearing yourself speak and seeing your situation with greater clarity can be healing in itself. An intention that opens the heart, the self, the soul, through the physical self, into the highest level of experienced and expressed freedom. And here's the prayer. Beloved Archangel Raphael, I call upon your healing green light for protection. Thank you for strengthening me from within and illuminating the pathways and the choices before me. I thank you, and I am grateful as you help me discern the best way to heal myself, to recover and renew myself, so that I may regenerate in new circumstances that are loving, respectful, and supportive. I thank you for instilling true hope and wisdom in my heart, so I remember I am worthy of love and respect, so that I remember to be that self-love and self-respect worth. A beautiful new era is opening for me of positivity for myself and from myself, of clarity and authentic truth, absent of shame, with loving kindness and loving acceptance. Thank you for guiding me to that place through and with divine grace. So be it. And now go ahead and visualize, feel, or imagine that a gleaming emerald green doorway of light before you. That doorway is the portal from a painful past into the next stage of your life. Sense a pair of white angel wings shining above the opening. The wings are a signal that Archangel Raphael is protecting you so you can make your way through. And when you're ready, you can imagine, feel, or move forward and as you are crossing through that threshold now, letting there be waves of peace, hope, release flowing through you and from you. Knowing, feeling, opening to and allowing that bold trust, the higher trust in your heart as you do so. And now say the words or feel them as I say them. I surrender into angelic protection and guidance onto the path of love meant for me now. I take steps forward on my path in harmony with divine timing. I trust in that harmony, that divine timing, and the divine design of it all for me specifically. And now we'll ground this ritual, this prayer, this knowingness, this truth into the earth. Because we know and we trust it is so, we know that it can go into the earth, nurture the consciousness of the earth, Amma, and be grown from her and rebirthed into our next spring and summer cycles. So we'll ground with intention, connecting still and again with the earth as it happens. And then say after me, with me, or allow my words to move through you as your own, if you agree. May the energies generated here today bring spiritual benefit to all beings. May any excess energy be sent to where it can do the most good. So be it. Thank you, Archangel Raphael. I honor your presence, and for the greatest good of all, this work is now complete. And now visualize, imagine, or intend that the sacred space is dissolving, the green bubble around you, dissolving gently into the earth, letting go, knowing, trust in the highest. And this is a completion of today's Angelic Lightwork process. That was really interesting and powerful. I'd love to hear how that was for you in the comments if you'd like to share. And I think because it does take a long time to do those full invocations, simply being with the recognition that finding what is lost, the freedom and the access to the freedom, being your healer as the heart. Your healer is the heart. And it's not necessarily, I mean, if you've been doing this practice, so you know your heart region, the energy, and the heart organ itself even is a portal to your divinity, your greater consciousness, your highest self. You know this, and what I'm feeling is that these cards are indicating, the messages are coming through that this is your truest focus right now. Not what other readers or people or society are saying. Go out and be your purpose and be in leadership and create a thing, or go on an adventure, or do this or that. Most certainly, if the openings are there for you and everything is falling into place with each step you take, then yes, that's correct. And whatever comes from that is correct too. All the goodness and all the challenging energies and beings and so forth. But what I'm feeling is that less and less of that is accurate for you now, as much as the greater focus being something along the lines of that ritual that we just did with Archangel Raphael. Something that is fostering and facilitating a more clear and clean and enhanced connection from the heart to these angelic presences, the ones known and ones unknown, the ones unknown to you that aren't written in the metaphysical pop culture marketing. Those really want to come through, the ascended masters, named and or unnamed, being able to connect with them and their signatures, their images, and their messages unfold in such different ways and over time in unique just incredible variations. It's funny because I don't feel throughout this reading that I'm doing it right, that I'm presenting this reading in a way that is the most ideal way, you know, the most what would be considered popularly grabbing. And yet something is moving through me and filling me up that says, keep doing it this way, keep going this way. So keep allowing yourself to be and express in ways that feel unfamiliar, and don't draw in what you think maybe it would in terms of maybe like recognition or acceptance or whatever in the external world from humans. And even energetically, you may find that energies that are really opposing this stronger, more pure essence and energy to flow through you and from you will come and interfere more. And you know what? That's fine. That's cool. Just keep opening up, keep focusing in, keep grounding it through. That's all you've got to do. That's your focus. And then be the witness, bear witness to the beauty of it, as well as the opposition energies. The more enhanced you become, the more those oppositionals, when there's a threshold passaging, will come around, you know. They don't want, whether it's simply an energetic algorithm, so to speak, a structure, a thought form, a program, or otherwise, it's built to resist being broken down. Just like we're all built to resist death, whether it's personality death, physical death, death of a relationship, a social structure, a job, so forth, a way of doing things. So a couple of things that came out from the Ancient Stones Oracle is the Nothing is Impossible card, and it came out in reverse. Oh, that's so beautiful. And instantly it said, to go along with what this reading is, it's about the way it's said. Everything is possible is the truth of that statement. The way it's written is the distortion. It's the spiritual almostness that still has cracks and fissures of the old antiquated way of doing things, saying things, and letting those more rigid, limiting, and or depleting and deficit causing intonations to infiltrate. So everything is possible. Opening to the unexpected, the unknown, being the witness. And I can see this woman here, she's standing on the edge of halfway up a mountain perhaps, and seeing this portal at a distance. And she sees it, of course, at a physical distance in the common reality, but she knows that her being there, present to it, truly present to it, feeling her presence with it, recognizing that that portal is within her, and it's demonstrating itself from that sacral projection. What is within her is showing itself outside of her. And then I love that these two cards came out next. Pave your own way. Leadership, courage, forge, don't follow. And just further reaffirming that leadership, she's solo, and she's running in a playful, joyful, strengthened from self. She is the mountain at the distance. She is the angelic light behind it. And these challenging steps are play for her now. She's got gorgeous, flowing, beautiful garb on, but she's got it hiked up to her knees and she's just having a blast, letting these challenges be what they are and giggling within in delight. That is her leadership. Not by other people agreeing with her, not by things working out necessarily perfect. The path here isn't soft and smooth. It isn't sequenced and even. It varies. It jumps up, it jumps down, it goes all over the place. There's a marsh to the side, there's some icy spots. But she knows she's being carried. And she knows she's being carried from within because she is an opened vessel to channeling her highest self. And when we're doing that, gravity, we actually do start defying gravity in a fascinating, ineffable way. And then ancestral messages, connection, belonging, ask for help. So this is talking to me about the work that you're doing as a sovereign individual, as a representation to the unforged path, to carving through the immovable that is now parting ways for your footsteps and elevating you through every gravitational pull down. Your ancestors are with you and they're walking it with you, through you, for they exist within every cell of your body, every genetic double helix strand within you. Your ancestors are able to experience what you are doing. You and yourself, not alone, but in a way, yes, you are claiming your power. You are acknowledging the raw truths of, all the divots and pivots and slamming into wall moments and sinking into the marsh pits of despair. You're experiencing all of that as a more embodied power of self by getting real with it and getting present with every moment of it, every nuance and seemingly by most people imperceivable layer and texture of it. The more you bear witness to the greater depths and details of your experiences, the more your divine greater consciousness, your higher self, your goddess self enters into your vessel and flows through you. And this is a privilege that your ancestors are honored to partake in and especially to observe. Because when it is time for their souls to come back and reincarnate into the future lineages of your line, siblings, cousins, however it is, or other, they will have the memory of walking through the path that you've been walking. They will have the memory of the obstacles and the best ways to work through them, even if the best ways are sometimes the most traumatic ways. And they'll have the courage and the fortitude and the sense of self certainty and that higher capital T trust that they are meant to be doing what they're doing, regardless of what the world outside of them says it is. If they're in it and it's a part of their reality, it is meant for them, and to engage in it and with it in depths and levels that are beyond the fathomable, and yet they'll be experiencing it because you did it. You carved pathways through the glaciers, the stones, the unseen, impossible invisible walls, you found ways through them all, because you were able to bend and morph and strengthen and be mutable, and all the things you were called to do in each moment with each layer and variation therein. And yes, life can be reduced to something so simplistic as the word love, but what that means, what love means in a great whole context, is very complex. And to be able to embody and experience more of that love, to become more of that love, which to me is synonymous with how people use the word God. Love, God is love. Love is the accurate word to me for that. And to allow more of that to seep through your beingness and become it in all of its many variations and nuances and intricacies and layers and dimensionalities, that is complex. And creating a business proposal or an outline or a 4-day weekend course on how to do it is going to come nowhere close to touching that. And in fact, it might actually detract from the experience, because the experience and the learning and the doing of it, the being of it, strictly requires presence and cues and opening to feeling, hearing, perceiving, knowing those cues, and then learning as you go the accuracy of your ability to translate those new and layered languages of direction, new and layered descriptors of seen and unseen landscapes, beings, and so forth. So wow and wow. I think we'll close out here, my friends. And with all this incredible, beautiful, wise, and complex, and yet still not ever fully complete, because the universe is ever expanding and contracting and expanding. And so love is ever expanding and contracting and expanding. And the power of it, the essence of it, the song of love that is all, is ever growing and developing. Knowing that this is true, we know that everything is possible. We know that all power is possible, and both of those things are available to us as we are ready and choosing to accept it into our beingness and into ourselves and into our expressions as a human, as a spirit, as whatever. We are eternal beings moving from form to form, and in between those states, whatever may be. So we trust this, and we lean into ourselves upon and sit upon the throne of that trust, knowing we are seated upon it because we feel the truth of the trust. We feel the truth of our greater selves, our higher selves, our more complete consciousness, whole, integrated, developed, evolved consciousness, present with us at a new and next level. And so allowing the mind and its programmed dictations to quiet itself, and gently, with ease and grace, lower that figuring outness, that presence within the thinking mind into the heart space, and further lowering, staying connected from top to heart, down to the base. filling all the spaces in each and between, as our consciousness continues to flow down through our legs and out the base of our feet, connecting ourselves, our heavenly, divine, highest selves, with our physical selves to the aspect of the self that is the Earth Mother consciousness, connecting heaven with earth. We are the bridge. We are the witness. We are the child. And we are the ever becoming of that unity. And what a wonderful thing to be grateful for, and to allow to be true as it is true for you, for me, and our each individual and collective knowingness. And for there is nothing less than love within ourselves and resonating from ourselves. For we are made from the unification that is love of the heavens and of the earth, uniting and creating us in every moment and recreating us in every moment. And so it is true that all things that are good and beautiful and true and correct and right are within us and around us. And we get to experience that regardless of what it looks like, what it tries to tell us it is. Letting this be true, letting it be good and beautiful and love. I surrender, I allow, I give thanks, and I release and let go. And so it is. Be blessed, my friends. I love you so much. I'm glad you're here. I'm so grateful for you. Be in beautiful, beautiful peace that you are. Much love.